who says, I'm excited to watch the queerest speedrunning marathon ever to help me get pumped up for Pride. I'm excited to donate in support of the Trevor Project, and best of luck to all the runners this weekend, with a little less than 3 heart. And that was $25, so thank you, Daniel. We super appreciate it. And now, without any further ado, as it were, I'll turn you over to RaikouRider, and you can go ahead and get the last levels under your belt one more time.
Certainly. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to run this game at another marathon. It's definitely a treat to watch. Even to 8-4, this game is a treat to watch. And those of you not familiar with this game, this is the version of Super Mario Bros. 2 that took Americans 7 years to get because Nintendo thought it was too difficult to be released outside of Japan, and it will show. I do have a co-commentator for this run. Congratulations on your Luigi run, though. That was quite something to watch.
Thank you.
So,
and hi, I'm M-Chan again.
Oh yeah, I remember you.
So with that, I think we're going to get started shortly. So I will go ahead and count us in 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, known as Super Mario Bros. 2 Japan. One of the reasons why you don't see a lot of ROM hacks of the original Super Mario Bros. Is because Nintendo kind of made one, and it's this game. In today's run, we will be playing the first 8 worlds only. There are some additional worlds, A through D, that you will not be seeing in this run. But you will get to see the first 8 worlds of this game. The world record for this category is 22 minutes and 2 seconds by Darbian, and my personal best is 24 minutes 40 seconds. So even though this game does look very similar to Super Mario Bros. Okay, cool, I got that. That's a 2-frame jump, by the way. Even though there are a lot of similarities to Super Mario Bros., it's a little bit more complicated than that. There are some subtle changes in the engine that you'll actually get to see one of them, hopefully, in the next stage. It has to do with the way Mario's jump height is calculated after jumping off of an enemy. One thing you may also notice is, at the end of each level, I'm jumping into the flagpole backwards. What that does is it saves the animation time of Mario turning around when on the flagpole, and that saves a couple of frame rules in each level. Those of you not familiar with Super Mario Bros. 1 and 2J in general, the game operates on a 21 frame rule system, and that's actually what I meant to demonstrate. Whenever you jump on an enemy in this game, there is the mechanics of Mario's jump height work a little bit differently in this game than they do in SMB1. Instead of just setting Mario's upward velocity to a set amount, it adds a value to whatever his current amount is. So if you can stomp on an enemy while moving upward, it'll set Mario's upward speed very high and allow you to gain a tremendous amount of height.
Also, he's skipping power-ups, so there's a couple of approaches that you can go about with the run. The fastest being Fire Mario, where you're picking up a mushroom and a fire flower in 1-3 and 1-4. But throughout the run, he's going to be using Small Mario, and it's a more risky approach because you can't afford to get hit by anything. As opposed to with Fire, you can play it safe and shoot any of the enemies in your way. And not only that, but in every castle, Bowser, you can shoot 5 fireballs at Bowser, and it skips the bridge animation.
And in this particular run is going to be Small Mario only, so I will never grab a power-up. Oh, nice Kaizo block, by the way. This game does have them. There aren't terribly many of them, but there are a few invisible blocks in this game that are placed specifically to hinder an otherwise intuitive jump.
Also, whenever possible, you want to grab the top of the flagpole, and that's so you can end the level just a little bit quicker, saving frame rolls.
Yes, in this game, you can only save or lose time in increments of 21 frames, because that's how often the game loads loading zones. 2-2 is going to have our first difficult momentum-based trick. Hopefully I can get it. That should be good. There's a second invisible block that you're supposed to use to be able to get on top of that pipe, but you can skip it, and that's very difficult to do. I've been struggling getting that in runs recently, and I'm very glad to have demonstrated that.
I'm sure a lot of casual players have tried to somehow jump over that large pit without knowing that there are hidden blocks there.
You can't even make that jump as Luigi.
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
the first Mario game where Luigi and Mario actually have differences in their physics. Luigi jumps about a block higher, but slides about 4 blocks farther than Mario does. Casually, if you're looking to just complete the game, Luigi is probably the easier character to play as. And unfortunately, I did manage to pick up some fireworks. You need to watch the ones digit of your timer and the ones digit of your coins throughout the run. If those two match, you'll wind up getting fireworks. They work very differently than in SMB1, where it's just based off the ones digit of your coins.
Yeah, odd numbers give you 3, and even numbers give you 6.
That's correct. And if your coin total is a multiple of 11 on the flagpole, you will also get an extra life. Which, as long as you're familiar with the block structure at the start of 1-1, lives are largely irrelevant, because there's a block structure at the start of the very first level that's set up perfectly for you to do the Koopa Bounce trick to get unlimited lives, and I am a firm believer that that is put there by design by Nintendo as a testament to the difficulty of this game.
Also, he's playing the All-Stars version on the Super Nintendo. There's another version of this game on the Famicom Disk System, and that's a little bit harder to run because if you game over in this game, because when you run this game, you're gonna expect to die a lot. When you game over in the FDS version, you start back at the beginning of the world, whereas in this version, if you game over, you just start back at the beginning of the level.
And that definitely makes the game as a whole more playable. Unfortunately, we did pick up 6 more fireworks, but other than that, that was a clean level.
Yeah, this version's definitely more easier and more consistent to run on than FDS.
One of the reasons why is because compared to the FDS version, this game has a lot of fixed hitboxes, particularly on fireballs and on piranha plants. The fireballs are a good fix, and for speedrunning, the piranha plants are a bad fix. The piranha plants in SMB1 and the NES version of 2J have interesting properties where only the stems actually will hurt you. But in the Super Nintendo version, the entire flower will cause Mario to take damage. So that's going to change a lot of strategies between the two versions of the game. Pipe jumps are a lot less feasible in this version of the game, so you'll see me slow down in a few places where I otherwise would be able to just run through on the NES version. You can actually make that jump, but it's extremely tight. It's either 1 or 2 frames, depending on where you land on the platform before. And it's just no fun to go for. There's enough frames in this game as it is.
Hey, let me know if there's any time for donation.
Actually, this would be a pretty good time. Go right ahead.
Cool. I have $50 from Tetrily, who says, "So hyped for the last Levels run. Good luck, Raikou."
Thank you, Tetrally. Much appreciated.
I have $25 from Ennis. No comment on that, but Ham Ham Heartbreak. Sorry, they donated to several different incentives, including Ham Ham Heartbreak Name Bid War, the Junior % bonus run for Pugsy, which definitely needs a lot more, the Celeste Any % Pico 8 bonus run, which is fantastic, and, whoa! The second Sonic Forces... Yeah, it looks like there's a second Sonic Forces contender.
Nice.
So that's pretty rad.
I guess one thing to note about that level is that he took a specific path, and that's because if you actually take the wrong path, the level's gonna loop. So it was important that he took the path that he took, otherwise you lose time.
Correct. You get a nice little chime when you take the correct path. That's only in this version of the game. And speaking of other changes from 1 to 2J, this particular stage is where one of the changes start. The piranha plants now become red, and they will ignore all of the previous rules that piranha plants in the game used, with exception of if you're standing directly on top of them, they won't pop out of the pipe. But if you're standing next to them, they'll still pop in and out of the pipe, and they also move much faster. Now, the star I'm picking up in 4-2 is actually for one specific enemy, that piranha plant. Now, these Hammer Bros coming up, I need to take my time a little bit to see what they do, because the Hammer Bros in this game can be in quite a variety of positions, and apparently it's Fireworks Day, because this is not the amount of fireworks that I was looking to pick up in this run. You obviously
USA.
want zero. Alright, 4-3. This level I actually need to concentrate on because there's a couple of instances where I need to hit frames, such as this one. Early, I think. Yep, early I missed it. To make that cycle, it's a 3-frame window, I believe.
Yeah, a lot of these jumps are really hard with Mario. With Luigi, these jumps can be made no problem. Oh.
Yeah, that was unfortunately just a bit of bad luck, because the bullet bills in these platforming levels, thanks game, these are all random, and dealing with random elements in this game is not fun.
Yeah, especially if we're going for a good time. Like you're bound to die somewhere and you just can't do anything about it.
Bullet bills, anytime you see bullet bills, cheap cheeps, and Hammer Brothers, those are all random. The Hammer Brothers spawn in fixed places, but they do whatever they want. So 4-4 is probably the level that the first level you'll need to spend a lot of time practicing, because there's quite a few moving parts in here, such as this one. I'm actually slowing down just a tad here, just in case I get a really bad fireball pattern there.
Ugh.
If you try to go full speed through that ending section without slowing down, the fireball will actually go right over the platform right as you're going to land on it. So if you go full speed and you get a bad fireball pattern, you will die with nothing you can do about it. There's actually quite a bit of that in this game, especially the later we get. And this World 5 will introduce another gimmick as well that can take a bit of understanding to grasp, and that is the wind. So the wind in this game actually has two different speeds it oscillates between, and I actually got the slower wind there. If you get the fast wind off of that last jump, you can actually make it straight onto that bullet bill shooter. So coming up right here, there's this wall that you can actually super jump over as either player, but it's much easier to do it as Luigi. As Mario, the setup for it is incredibly tight, and if you fail it, you die. So 5-2 has a bit of a tricky start, but once you get past that, the level is pretty easy. It's one of the last easy-ish levels you get, and I actually failed the fast start. What you can do at the beginning is you can jump in between that red shell and that piranha plant, but it's incredibly precise.
I guess it's worth noting that this is a Warpless run. So there's two different Warpless categories of this game. There's a Warpless 8.4 and a Warpless D4, where Warpless D4 goes through every single level of the game. Whereas in this category is Warpless 8.4, where he's just going to be going through 8 worlds.
Can I get a moment for the start of this level, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so that trick is dependent on a number of factors, including having to run. You need running speed the moment you land on that platform that moves. And you have to do, I believe, a max jump followed by a min jump. And one more note about that stage 5-3 is because it has 2 parts divided by that bonus room, there is no checkpoint in this level. We're coming up on 5-4, which is probably my favorite castle in the game.
This level has a lot of fire bars.
It does, but this level is really fun to speedrun and is probably easier to speedrun than it is to play casually. Okay, good. That Podobo right before the large fire bar, if you get a low spawn on that, you have to kind of know it's coming, otherwise you'll just get killed. And in the castle levels, there are no checkpoints. Now, once we get to World 6, this is where the game really starts to get ROM hackish in difficulty. The Hammer Brothers in this stage start to get much more aggressive than they were in the previous worlds, especially World 3. Where World 3, they were kind of docile and just warming up, but now the Hammer Brothers are extremely aggressive. And this level is also the first case where the wind activates at a very inconvenient time. So if you're not ready for it, it's very easy to sail over the top of that staircase and just go flying into the drink.
Yeah, you can't really go backwards when you're in midair when the wind is coming. So it's very unfortunate if that happens.
6-2. This is one of my least favorite levels in the game. Even among water levels, this level is just terrible. Anytime you see Cheap Cheeps or... Oh, seriously? You're gonna give me this pattern too? Thanks, game.
Oh, man. Oh, okay.
Anytime you see Cheap Cheeps in the game, they're just... Whether they're flying ones or underwater ones, they're all random. And one other thing noteworthy about the checkpoints in these levels is the farther you get into the game, the later the checkpoints get in stages. The checkpoint in this level in particular is over 2/3 of the way through the stage.
That was a very interesting... Those were interesting patterns that you just got in that level.
Yeah, those were nasty patterns. Okay, so 6-3. If you watched my run of this at SGDQ last year, you know that this level and I have a history. Hopefully that history won't come into play today, and this level will actually play nice, because this level has a lot of really, really annoying RNG in it. Thankfully, it cooperated this time. Those patterns were pretty free. You can get really, really ugly patterns in that level. Alright, so now I'm going to let M-Chan take over commentary for a while because there's 6 really, really difficult levels back to back to back, and I need to focus.
Yeah, so just like 3-4, this is another maze level, so he's going to take a certain path in order to go about with this level. So he's going to take the top path over here. Earlier he took a bottom path, and once again, if you take the wrong part of the stage, then the stage is going to loop. Usually, usually the way to go, and he's not levitating, by the way. There is a platform there. Usually the way to go, the way you would know where the correct path is if the path is the hardest path out of all the other paths.
Yes, you just want to take the worst path possible in this level. And also that jump I made right before the big pipe section in the middle, that's another 2 to 3 frame jump. Alright, World 7. World 7 is where runs go to die.
Oh yeah, this level's terrible. Also, you just saw Bowser throwing hammers. That is the first world where Bowser will start throwing hammers.
I love this game.
Oh no, man. Ugh. So he wanted a star there, and that's for a certain part later in the level.
Yes, there is a star in that block that removes a lot. I love Cheap Cheeps. Did I mention I love
man.
Cheap Cheeps?
Yeah, they're called Cheap Cheeps for a reason. That was a very cheap move.
That is one of the dangers for trying to get the star, but it is well worth it because it removes a lot of very frustrating RNG from this level.
Oh yeah, there's one part coming up. Right there. You don't want to deal with that mess without a star.
And
if you die past that point, you won't get that star.
Yes, because the star is actually right before the checkpoint. Alright, so 7-2 coming up has a lot of extremely precise platforming required to do the fastest strat in this level. There's a Lakitu coming up in particular that I need to jump off the right half of his sprite, otherwise he will throw a Spiny on the same frame that I kill him and it will be a double KO. Got it.
Nice. Also, if he doesn't go in that pipe, then the level loops until he actually gets in that pipe.
Really?
Oh, man. That sucks.
This game is brutal. Alright.
Yeah, this is basically the nature of Lost Levels speedruns.
This will happen to even the best players.
If you have time for a donation, I would like to read some. That's okay.
This is probably not a great time.
That's fine, that's fine.
Hard.
When we get to 8-2, you can read donations for a while, because 8-2 and 8-3 are pretty easy, but sorry, I'm gonna just request that you put it off until we get to 8-2.
There is no problem with that. I'm fine with that.
So 7-3, this level speaks for itself.
Yeah, so basically what he's doing here is, this level's terrible, because you have to ride on these, you have to jump from these green springs, one green spring to the other, when you jump from the green spring with full speed, you'll gain a lot of momentum. If you don't know where you are because you're on the top of the screen, you can't see yourself, then there is a chance that you're just gonna fall to your death.
I'm not gonna go for the cycle. You have to hit the right side of that springboard to go for the optimal cycle. So
yeah, he's playing it safe right there by having the platforms on the left so that he can land on the very left. Oh man. Alright, so unfortunately that is a game over, so he is gonna miss out on that checkpoint. But since this is the Super Nintendo version, he can start back on 7-3.
I mean, that's welcome to Lost Levels. This game is extremely heavy resets when doing personal best attempts.
Yeah, it doesn't help that that wind is constantly pushing you.
You can make the optimal cycle from the left side of the springboard, but it's wind speed dependent, and that's not something that I would want to risk my run on.
Alright, so there we go.
World 7's not over yet. 7-4.
Yeah.
So 7-4 is the hardest castle in the entire game. At least for the first 8 worlds. I would say out of the letter worlds, A and C have probably harder castles. Oh yeah, there's an invisible mushroom right before that fireball that's no doubt placed to screw up your jump. Nice Kaizo block.
Okay, so yeah, coming up is a really, really hard Bowser fight, so we'll see how this goes.
He can sit there and waste so much of your time. Oh, there he goes. All the way to the back. What makes this Bowser fight so hard is that the hammers mean you can't jump over him, and the fire bar is rotating counterclockwise. And he's just in the worst. The fire bar is just in the worst possible spot. And this stage in particular is another stage where runs go to die.
Yeah, in a non-small Mario attempt, that mushroom would be very worth getting. But that section that you just went through is actually really hard with when you're big.
There's definitely pros and cons to small Mario.
Yeah.
Come on, Oh yeah, right. It's a marathon, and Bowser knows it. This is what I mean. Like, he can just go back and forth right over where the fire bar is, and just waste your time. You just have to wait for the first safe opportunity, and he can sit there and waste so much of your time.
Very nice job. Alright, so now we're on the final world.
Alright, so 8-1, this is probably the last, like, insane stage. I mean, 8-4 is still hard, but 8-1 is difficult. Oh, making it cleanly past that Piranha Plant is frames, by the way. Cool, I'm gonna get the bullet bill manipulation here. It's to set up the Hammer Brother there, because we didn't mention it, but the Hammer Brothers from World 7 on, not only do they become more aggressive with their hammers, but they also start charging at you.
Yeah, if you actually want a safe approach with the Hammer Brothers, you can actually hang around on the left side of the screen, and you won't get hit by any of the hammers.
Alright, Ariel, if you want to read a donation, this is a great time.
Red, I'm gonna do that. I have $25 from Sir Za. Says, a little love from a rookie Link to the Past rando sprite designer. Good to see positive things being done through so many gaming marathons. I look forward to seeing the Zelda block and the bonus rando run. Fingers crossed. Yeah, make sure you get your donations in for that.
Oh,
I have some more
nice.
if you have time, but ooh.
I just hit a really hard trick there, actually.
Nice,
Yeah.
fantastic.
So you actually need to hit that block in order to complete the level. Otherwise, the level loops.
That's correct. If you got time for one more, I can do one more in 8-3.
All right, I have $5 from Hot Coffee, who says, I'm eating a lush bath bomb while reading this. Hashtag absorb gay energy. And also $100 from Spur, which is fantastic. Thank you so much. That's very generous.
Oh, one thing to mention is that alongside most of those Hammer Brothers, there are invisible poison mushroom blocks that are placed to screw up your jumps.
Oh yeah, I guess that's another thing. They introduced poison mushrooms in this game from Super Mario Bros. 1, and you don't want to pick those up at all, because they're bad for you. But, yeah.
Alright, so 8-4. This is a very fitting stage for the last stage in Lost Levels. This is, I believe, the longest stage that was made by Nintendo in this engine. It's about, I want to say, about a minute and a half. And just every single room in this castle tests you.
Oh, you're not gonna go for it? Okay. So there's another strat where you can, like, jump to the very right, and then your momentum will just completely reverse to go to the left, and it makes the jump a little bit easier, but that's, of course, a really tricky thing to do.
Like, this is one of those stages in the game that no matter how you play it, how much you play it, it doesn't get any easier. This castle is tough the first time you play it, and this castle will be tough the last time you play it.
And there's a hidden mushroom above that pipe if you're gonna use that as a safety.
I used to get that.
Yeah. Also in the FDS version, you can do a little clip in this room if you're big, but since you can't do that in this version, you just have to do it this way.
Alright, time is coming up on the axe, by the way. Time.
Awesome run. Let's see what time that was.
On my end, I have a 2804, and I'm not happy with that.
Oh,
Yeah, it looks like 2804.
I feel I didn't play very well at all. Sorry. But that's lost levels. That'll happen. The run was actually really good up until World 7. But World 7 just chewed me up, and that's lost levels, though. That's what World 7 was. Actually, outside of World 7, that run was really good, but World 7 can just be a disaster. But before I do hand it off to the next runner, I do want to give some shout-outs. I want to give some shout-outs to Team Boom Boom. All the runners on Team Boom Boom who helped a lot in just improving, just getting my time down in this game. Just all the people on Team Boom Boom, just Defend, Karua,
Lack Attack,
especially Lack Attack,
and Truman.
Yes, but especially Lack Attack. I still remember arriving and then meeting him on that day, and he was like, "I got to take you to boot camp on this game," and just big shout-outs to him. And also shout-outs to Big John as well. So, that's Lost Levels. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was, amazing as usual.
Yeah, even with all things considered, that was a really good run. So yeah, Lost Levels can do that to anybody.
I think a lot of the mistakes in this run really felt like just the game saying "screw you" instead of "my play," especially in 7-1.
Yep.
Yeah, well, thank you super much. That was fantastic.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the future I'll be able to show off the rest of the game.
Yeah,